Vail Regatta was started in the 1930s by a fellow named Rusty Callow, and he was the coach at the University of Pennsylvania. And in Philadelphia, not only did Penn row and go to the IRAs, but there were a number of smaller colleges, as there are today, that also rowed. And Rusty wanted something for them to do as well. So he encouraged the start of a regatta, which historically has been in Philadelphia, for the so-called smaller colleges, that means the less well-funded or the non-Ivy colleges. It was named after a fellow named Dad Vail, who had been a coach and boatman at the University of Wisconsin.
I'm Jack Dalloway, the chairman, Aberdeen Dad Vail Regatta, and I'm out here by the banks of the river now. It looks like a men's varsity 8 race that's coming down this morning. The race is really, the Dad Vail Regatta is an amazing amalgam of colleges and universities from all over North America. We have them from Oregon and California and Washington, but lots and lots of crews from Florida and Tennessee, about anywhere where they row, and they're not at what one would call the Ivy League level. They're going to be at the Dad Vail. That's everyone who comes here, and that's why we're so happy to have large public universities like Ohio State, Michigan State, Michigan, all here to join us at this regatta. The first intercollegiate sport, before football, before basketball, before any of those sports, was rowing. The first intercollegiate race was a rowing race. So we think we carry on a terrific tradition. Now, obviously, people at Big Ten football think they have a terrific tradition. Well, we think we have a good one too. And it gives the opportunity for everybody to come together and have a great time out here racing.
I'm Bob Morrow. I'm former secretary of the regatta, and I've been at the regatta every year since 1955 till now. I only missed 1959. I first got involved in the regatta when I was in college. I rowed in this event. I rowed all 4 years, and we happened to win the regatta 3 years in a row, 56, 7, and 8. We won the gold medal in varsity 8 and 7. The 4 of us that are here, we rowed in that championship, but one of the championships. Murph was the stroke, I was 7. He was bow man, you were 6. So 8, 7, 6, and bow. So they call us the remnants of the 57 boat. One other interesting note, the Dad Vail Regatta came here to Philadelphia in 1953, and it's been here ever since. And also back in those days, when we would cross the finish line, maybe one parent would be there, or maybe a grandmother. Now you have 20,000, 30,000 people. But back in the 50s, you rode for yourself, you rode for your school, your team, your crewmates.
My name is Tom DeLutis. Got involved in rowing because my middle daughter rowed. And so soon as a parent decided that the best way to see a regatta is to follow it behind as an official. So I became, in 1990, I became a referee, U.S. rowing license referee. So I've been doing it for 25 years as an official. A number of years ago, I was asked to join the board, the Dad Vail, in particular because technology insertion to bring the technology up. So that's what my job was to be chairman of the technology committee. And so we then Regatta Central, which is now the VoIP interface. We brought that on board, and we also brought the link system and the timing system on so that we could do that automated as opposed to the way we were doing it before. And that has now evolved and gotten better. This year there's an app we have out there to see things. So we're moving continually in terms of incorporating technology as necessary.
In those days, it was just a stopwatch and 6 men sitting watching to see who won, and they argued for 20 or 30 minutes as to who was number 1 and who was number 2.
We are the finish line officials. What we do is we follow the races as they come down. As they cross the line, we're writing down the order of finish, and we are comparing our times to the times that they get on the water, and making sure that all the races are official. But favorite part is just watching the races.
Then they asked me to become the treasurer, so I'm the treasurer for the Dad Vail. And what that means is that in order to maintain the integrity of what we do, because there's so much money involved, that we always have 2 people that have to approve every expenditure. So the president essentially writes the checks and makes the payments, and then I approve the issuances of them. So my job essentially is a corporate officer to be the treasurer on there, and also sort of a backup for the finance committee. I do the budget, and so then I sweat over all the monies that's necessary in terms of how we get the money to run the regatta, and how we make sure that it's run the way you see it here, in terms of making it into an event that people like to see. I'm sure everybody's told you that this is the largest collegiate regatta in the country, which means that as you see the surroundings in here, you know so what's going on. So it takes in the mid 6 figures, okay, to run this regatta. Okay. Just to give you an idea of the magnitude of the expenditures. So part of our job as the local organizing committee is to make sure that we have the resources necessary, both the people resources and the dollar resources, to be able to run this regatta the way that everybody would like to have it run.
I've been chairman for probably 42 years. So it's a long, long time as chairman. We have a terrific group of volunteers, well over 200 volunteers put this event on. Obviously, 1 or 2 people couldn't do it. It takes a whole family of people. And it's really sort of the essence of the institution here in Philadelphia, where we have volunteers come from all over the country to put the regatta on. But we also have our homegrown Philadelphia rowing community that puts it on.
Well, I rowed at LaSalle High School and then Temple University, and I felt like I wanted to give back to the sport. It's a volunteer position. Yep, everybody here is volunteering their time.
Well, the coach were if you know anything about sports, one of my predecessors here at rowing decided that just because the masters have a green coat, why don't we have a distinct looking coat? So it was decided we would have gold coats. That was decided around 1952 or 53. Well, they wear a coat. They're awarded a coat after 5 years service as a volunteer for the regatta. You'll be awarded a coat. You'll become a referee, or you might be a finish line judge, or you might be doing other things on putting the regatta together. But there's probably a good 250 gold coats out there where people have been awarded them. Many guys, wear them all the way to the grave, and so they're laid out in their gold coat when they finally come to the end. This coat, as a matter of fact, belonged to our former chief referee, Ernie Bear, who was an Olympian from 1932. And when Ernie passed away, his wife passed it along to me and said, "Oh, what a good idea, Jack. Give one of your newer coats to one of the young men, and here, row Ernie." So Ernie, who was laid to rest probably a good 15 or 20 years ago, I've been using his coat ever since. It only comes out of the closet once a year for the Dad Vail. We don't wear it any other time. In the case of Ernie, his wife thought it would be better off if the coat kept on working, so that's why she gave it to me.
The regatta's for the rowers. Okay? It's not for the LOC. So we want to make sure everything is such that the rowers have an event in which they're proud of, they're happy with, and it's been something that is worth the effort of coming to. Which since Ohio State continues to come here, we must agree with that.
But it's an amazing opportunity for the student athletes from all these locations to get together this one weekend in early May, come to a historic city like Philadelphia and race, and then get a chance to essentially enjoy the benefits of coming to a big, large eastern city and see rowing at its what I would call historic finest.